can hear from the member for Paterson.
Yeah. Thanks, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Regional Development, Local Government and Territories. Why is ongoing public ownership of the NBN important for our regions, and what other approaches are there, Minister?
Give a call to the Minister for Regional Development, Local Government and Territories.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I want to thank the member for Paterson for the question, because she knows the value of affordable, high-speed access to NBN in our regions. Regional communities just like mine and just like hers rely on the NBN to access healthcare, to access education, for our businesses and to remain connected to each other. It was a Labor government that established the NBN because there was a digital transformation happening across the world and we didn't want Australians to be left behind. In this term of government, we've invested $2.4 billion to expand full fibre NBN access to 1.5 million homes across the nation, and that includes 660,000 across our regions. And we're building on that investment through the bill introduced today, which will ensure that the NBN is owned by those across Australia. We know in 2024 connectivity is not a nice-to-have, it's an absolute necessity, particularly for those people in our regions, and that is why only an Albanese Labor government will ensure the NBN stays in government hands. Keeping it in government hands means we can retain oversight on pricing, on infrastructure investment and on service quality for all consumers. I know firsthand as a regional small business owner that reliable and affordable broadband impacts our bottom line. Without reliable connectivity to high-speed broadband, our business stops. We lose control of invoicing, of inventory, of payroll and of remote staff access. And, Mr Speaker, let me tell you, when the wreckers opposite came to power in 2013 and started ripping fibre out of the ground, they created a digital divide. And that is not an analogy. It is literally a real-world example that happened 15 minutes over the border in my electorate in Jerrabomberra, where half the suburb had access to full fibre, first-rate, high-speed internet, while the other half had to suffer through the ridiculous coalition copper dropout system for over a decade. It took a Labor government to provide high-speed connectivity to the rest of the suburb. And earlier this term, the Minister for Communications and I stood with the Jerrabomberra community to celebrate their final full connection to fibre broadband. Those opposite go into our regions making promises on what they'll deliver, but what they've delivered is a privatised Telstra, a second-rate NBN, which has left our regions behind. Like they sold Telstra, they'll sell the NBN, and if they were given half a chance, they'd sell your grandma's couch, except they'd have to do the work of lifting it, so that might be a bit too hard. Mr Speaker, Labor governments build things. We created the NBN, we created Medicare and we created the NDIS, and we'll keep it in government hands.
Hear from the member for